Xiao Zhan was standing at the center of the stage during the Dragon TV 2026 New Year's Gala when the unexpected happened. There was no warning, no announcement, no signal from backstage. The performance was already underway, the lighting was set, the camera framing was locked. Millions of viewers were watching live. Then, in the middle of the broadcast, Wang Anyu's microphone suddenly stopped working. The sound dropped out. Not gradually, not subtly. It cut off, live on air. For a brief moment, the rhythm of the performance was at risk of collapsing. On a stage like this, even a second of silence can feel longer than it actually is. The pressure of live television does not allow room for hesitation, and there is no pause button waiting in the background. And in that moment, Xiao Zhan reacted. Not loudly, not dramatically, not in a way that demanded attention, but decisively. In just a few seconds, his response kept the performance moving forward and prevented the stage from slipping into an awkward silence. What could have become a visible disruption instead became a moment that passed almost unnoticed, unless you were watching closely. This was not a scripted moment. It was not planned, not rehearsed, not designed to become a highlight. It happened live, in real time, in front of millions of viewers, on one of the most closely watched televised stages of the year. On a gala stage like Dragon TV's New Year celebration, mistakes are costly. The entire program runs on precise timing. Every cue, every transition, every second is carefully planned to fit a strict broadcast schedule. When something goes wrong, there is no room for improvisation that draws attention to itself. At that moment, Xiao Zhan was holding a key position in the performance. He was not standing on the sidelines. He was not waiting for his turn to enter. He was already part of the visual and rhythmic center of the stage. The lighting was stable, the camera angle remained wide. Nothing in the production signaled that something had gone wrong, but the audio had failed. The interruption itself lasted only a second, maybe two. To the audience at home, it might have felt like a minor glitch, but to someone standing under the lights, wearing an in-ear monitor, feeling the rhythm of the music and the pace of the show, that second was enough. The sound was gone, the rhythm broke. Xiao Zhan did not hesitate. He did not turn around to look for help from backstage. He did not scan the stage for a technician. He did not wait for instructions from a director through an earpiece. He made a choice. Without raising his voice, without stepping out of formation, Xiao Zhan reached for his own microphone and stepped toward Wang Anyu. The movement was quick but controlled. Not rushed, not exaggerated, not theatrical. Just enough. Before passing the microphone, he made a subtle adjustment. It was not a movement meant for the camera. It was not something the audience was meant to notice in real time. He rotated the microphone slightly, shifted his grip, maintained a careful distance. It was a small motion, one that could easily disappear amid the lights and movement of the stage. But when viewers later replayed the footage, that detail became noticeable. It showed awareness, restraint, and an understanding of how to move within a shared performance space without disrupting it. There were no unnecessary words, no dramatic expressions, no visible urgency. Wang Anyu accepted the microphone and immediately continued the performance. The interruption ended almost as quickly as it began. On live television, the entire exchange lasted only a few seconds. The music resumed, the flow returned, the program moved forward exactly as planned. Many viewers watching live may not have fully processed what had happened. They sensed a brief disruption, a fraction of a moment where something felt off, and then the show carried on. That was the point. Xiao Zhan returned to his original position on stage. He did not linger. He did not turn toward the camera. He did not emphasize the action he had just taken. He simply stepped back into place. The stage moved forward. The music continued. The gala stayed on schedule, as if nothing had gone wrong. With the microphone functioning again, the audio stabilized completely. The lighting remained unchanged. The camera framing did not shift to highlight the incident. The broadcast followed its original plan, uninterrupted. No explanation was offered to the audience. No apology appeared on screen. No backstage intervention became visible. Xiao Zhan maintained his role in the performance, calm and steady, as if the interruption had never happened. Wang Anyu completed his part without further issues. His posture, expression, and timing returned to normal within seconds, reinforcing the sense that the situation had been fully resolved. The remainder of the segment proceeded smoothly, ending exactly within its allotted time. From the perspective of the live broadcast, the issue had been handled cleanly and efficiently. But for those who later revisited the footage, the moment told a different story. When the performance came to an end and the artist prepared to leave the stage, the cameras continued to capture the final movements of the performers. The music softened. The formation began to shift. Wang Anyu approached Xiao Zhan to return the microphone. The exchange was simple, quiet, professional. There was no dialogue, no exaggerated gesture, no movement intended to draw attention. The microphone was returned. Then the two shook hands. The handshake was brief, natural, unforced. It did not linger. It did not demand a close-up. It did not interrupt the flow of the program. It simply happened. A closing gesture to an interaction that had begun with a technical issue only minutes earlier. After that, both artists exited the stage according to the planned formation. The lights shifted. The focus moved to the next segment of the show. The gala continued with the next part of the New Year's celebration. On the broadcast itself, nothing more was said about what had happened. The program moved forward, as live television always does. But after the show ended, something quietly changed. Clips of the microphone handover began circulating online. Viewers paused at that moment, replayed it, slowed it down. They watched the exchange again, not because it was dramatic, and not because it was controversial, but because it felt real. The technical problem itself was minor. Microphone issues happen on live stages all the time. They are usually forgotten as quickly as they occur. What made this moment stand out was how quickly and quietly it was resolved. In a gala filled with carefully rehearsed performances, flawless lighting, and precise choreography, this unscripted detail stood out precisely because it did not disrupt anything. The entire sequence, the failed microphone, the handover, the continuation of the performance, and the final handshake formed a complete arc within a matter of minutes. No explanation was required. For many viewers, this was not a moment that demanded analysis or interpretation. It was simply a glimpse into the reality of live performance, a reminder that even on the biggest stages, unexpected situations can arise. What matters is what happens next. Xiao Zhan did not step forward to claim attention. He did not turn the situation into a showcase of himself. He acted and then stepped back. Wang Anyu responded just as quickly, accepting the microphone and continuing without hesitation, keeping the focus where it belonged, on the performance. The exchange remained functional, focused, and respectful of the stage and the audience. The final handshake, when viewed again in hindsight, feels less like a gesture and more like a quiet full stop. No explanation, no reinforcement, just acknowledgement. And then, as live television always does, the program moved on. But the clip didn't. It lingered. It replayed. It circulated. Perhaps that is why this moment stayed with so many people. Not because it was loud, not because it was dramatic, and not because it was meant to be remembered. It stayed because it felt precise. In a night built on spectacle, lighting, choreography, countdowns, and celebration, this was a moment that relied on none of those things. No music cue, no prepared close-up, no pause for emphasis. Just timing. A problem appeared, a decision was made, an action followed. And then the show continued. When viewers replayed the clip, what stood out was not the scale of the incident, but the clarity of the response. Xiao Zhan did not hesitate long enough for the moment to grow. He did not act fast enough to draw attention. He acted at exactly the point where the performance still had momentum. That balance cannot be manufactured. It cannot be rehearsed into existence. It only appears in real time. Wang Anyu's response completed the moment just as cleanly, accepting the microphone, continuing without pause, allowing the focus to remain on the performance rather than the problem. The final handshake, seen again after everything else, feels less like a symbol and more like a conclusion. No explanation, no reinforcement, just acknowledgement that the moment had passed. And then, as live television always does, the program moved on. But the clip didn't. It lingered, it replayed, it circulated. Because sometimes, The moments people remember most are not the ones designed to impress, but the ones that quietly prove everything is still under control. In the end, this was not a story about a technical failure. It was a story about what happens in the seconds after one.